Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Russellville, Alabama. We are here with BLC, Baltazar Lawn Care. What's up, guys?
How you doing, Ben? Paul?
Excited, Paul. Great to have you here.
So we have Eli, Big One.
Yes, sir.
And we have a peanut gallery here. We got the whole team. So say real loud your guys' names so they can hear you. With Moses in the house. John in the house. Baltazar.
Baltazar.
Yeah,
that's his name.
Baltazar. So Ben Naaman's on his way as well, having a great time here in Alabama. And this is all brought to us by our friends at Echo, which you were just at Echo.
Business, yeah.
Yeah, look forward to hear a little bit more about that. And Ballard Products is sponsoring our tour, as well as Company Cam. So we're going to take a quick moment. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors. They're the ones that make this all possible so I could travel around the country and hear your guys' stories. And coming up, we're going to hear about your business, how you're dealing with inflation, how you're dealing with gas prices, and how you bought this big old mansion that we're in. Truly, guys, we're in a really, really, really nice house that you just bought with lawn care money.
Yes,
unless
exactly.
you won the lottery or something.
No, nice lawn care money, cutting grass every day.
Over
cutting
time,
grass, making cash.
Yeah, and buying a very, very nice home. I think I already got lost up in here. But, hey, we're going to take a quick moment here from today's show sponsors for making this tour possible. And coming up, we're going to hear what's going on in Sweet Home, Alabama. Alrighty, guys, our summer tour continues in a beautiful little town, Russellville, Alabama. So this is the BLC headquarters, huh?
Exactly. This is it.
And y'all are originally from Guatemala, correct?
Yes, Guatemala.
And then who came over here first? What year you kind of get started?
Actually, in 1980, my daddy came over here, crossed the border, and you know how it is, and to look for a better life. So I was born here.
Okay.
I was born in the state of Florida. And I was born in 1989, so ever since then, we lived there for a couple of years. Then when I was like 2 years old, with Baltazar, was like 4, we went back to Guatemala. Daddy gathered some money up, saved some money, and went to buy some lands and put his store there. And, so we lived there for about 7 years. And then after that...
In Guatemala?
In Guatemala, yeah. And then after that, we came back. And then Daddy started working at the chicken plant because we have a big chicken plant here in Russellville. But back then, it was still in Florida. And he moved to Boaz, Alabama.
Okay.
And he worked at it. Ever since then, he started working at a chicken plant. So he heard of Russellville having a big Pilgrim's Pride. And he's like, hey, we need to go check that out. And we was like, 9 years old, 10 years old. So Daddy started working at the chicken plant when he moved up to Russellville back in 2000. It's actually 1999. Right into 2000s. Went to school here, and then we started, having lawn care. We started cutting grass around the house, and then the neighborhood, Moses, started cutting grass to make extra money.
Okay.
But
so
Moses
you started all this.
Yes, he started all this, and then we sponsor him when because we was having a part time with Baltazar at the chicken plant, and then we started going full time because I didn't even graduate. I didn't graduate here in Russellville. I went to Russellville, but I didn't graduate. So we was already working at the age of 16 because we was going through a lot of struggles. Mom was sick, so Daddy was the only one working, paying bills. We started working at a young age. And then Moses, was like 6 years old, 8 years old probably. And then he's like, I want to cut grass. I want some money. So we sponsored a little push mower with Baltazar, started going around the neighborhood, cutting grass for $30, and then after that, he was spending that money on toys and stuff like that. So there was a point where he wasn't cutting the grass anymore. He was like, you know what? I just want to hang out with my friends. I want to go ball with my friends. So that's whenever Baltazar and I, we went like, we need to start cutting the grass because Moses is not going anymore. So that's when we step in because Moses at a young age.
How are Moses
That's my nephew.
and Eli? Okay, so you're nephew.
Yes.
Then how are you and Baltazar related?
Brother.
You guys are brothers?
Yes.
Okay.
So everything started like that. And then, like I said, Moses, he grew up with his mom. They separated, when he was real, young, maybe a couple of months old. So Moses wanted to hang out with his friends. So we started, me and Baltazar, we went out there and started cutting this grass. So we fell in love of cutting grass. We was like, why don't we just start growing this? Because that's what we wanted to do with Moses. We said, hey, why don't you, when you turn 16, 17, you start cutting grass. And we sponsor all the tools. So Moses he was at a young age like, oh, I really don't care about it. I just want to hang with my friends.
Okay.
But he was part of it though. He'll go with
Yeah.
us to help us blow, to help us weed eat some spots. So in 2007, that's whenever me and Baltazar step in and say, hey, we need to start cutting grass. And Moses, I want to be involved now. You know, he wants to be more involved. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, you know, but you're going to have to stop hanging with your friends and take it more serious. So that's whenever we went to buy a riding lawnmower, John Deere riding lawnmower, you know, and it was at Lowe's. We was the happiest young kids back then. I was like about 17 or 16. Baltazar was 19. So we was happy, man. We was like, man, we just bought a big lawnmower. So
yeah, shout outs to Lowe's. They're our
Exactly.
new sponsor.
Exactly.
And I got some exciting things to announce about Lowe's in the future. But
Yes.
they're great. So
Awesome. You know, we bought a curve shaft weed eaters, and our first hedge trimmer was them weed eater brands. I think that was a name of it. It was green.
yeah.
We bought them, and we was just going out there and cutting grass. You know, we started. Moses was he's good at knocking doors.
Okay.
You know, Moses will go out there and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going in there and knock." I was like, "Okay." So he'll go and pass out cards. I remember our first cards with him was Moses cutting grass. That
Okay.
was our first card. So he went out there and throw out his card, and then. But like I said, Moses was really young. He wanted to hang out with his friends, so that's whenever we step in. So we started, you know, doing that for part time while we were still working at the chicken plant. But then, I think I said this before, you know, we started doing it part time for a few years. But then there was a time, I think it was in 2013, whenever it was, you know, 7 years part time. And in 2013, I get promoted at the chicken plant.
Okay.
But at another company in Jasper, Alabama, that's like 45 minutes to an hour here with traffic.
Okay.
We moved there. I mean, not moved there, but my work, you know, I drove every day. It was a 10-hour shift.
Okay.
And I had my first kid.
Okay.
And I wasn't spending time with them, you know, my wife and family. So I was there from, you know, 7 o'clock at night till 8 or 9 next morning because I have to drive. So that's whenever I was like, I can't do this no more. You know, a lot of pressure. You know, they promoted to a supervisor. And I didn't like it because I was like, man, I can't do this all the time. There was pressure. The bosses were like, you got to run so much chicken. You got to keep up with 50 employees, you know. And I was like, man, I can't do this no more. So that's whenever I sit down with Baltazar and I say, hey, man, I think I'm done with the chicken plant. I think this is a step to grow our business. You know, been doing it for 7 years. I remember that year when I went to be a supervisor, we went from having 14 clients to only 7 because we kind of lost the focus on it. You know, we kind of lost the attention to the lawn care. We was like, you know, because it was good money being a supervisor, you know, back then. I was like, you know, I don't think I'll need to cut grass again because I'm doing better now, you know, but I didn't like the job.
But you actually enjoyed cleaning up someone's property more than
Yes, exactly. I feel more
making the chickens.
Yes, I wanted to cut my grass instead of being in there making good money, but I wasn't happy. But I go out, you know, to cut grass, and I was happy. So I told Baltazar, because I remember when sometimes they'll have us on day shift. I was working a night shift, so he'll be cutting grass by himself. And Moses would be in school, so he was by himself. I was like, hey, did you cut this one? Did you cut that one? He was like, yeah, but I miss you, man. You know, I was like, man, I know, but, you know, here I am. So I worked there for about 7 months, and then the spring of 2014, that's whenever my daddy was working there with me at the chicken plant. And I told my dad, I was like, I'm not happy, Daddy. Feel like this is not for me, you know. So he's like, why don't you grow the cutting grass business? You know, you've been doing it for 6. But I'm scared. You know, I already got a kid. The second one is on the way. So what if I fail? You know, what if it's just so? There's like he was there pushing me. He was there pushing me. Spring 2014, that's when I take the decision and say, you know what, I'm going to grow my business. So I quit chicken plant. There's a story that I always heard from a guy in Guatemala. This is what he said. Whenever Christopher Columbus, and I don't know if this is true or not, but when Christopher Columbus and all the folks came to the U.S., they said that they saw their boats there, and they said, the only reason we will not want to go back and stay here and build this country is we need to burn that boat.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, like I said, I heard that story. I don't know if it's true or not, but they burnt that boat and they said, there's no way we can go back where we come from. Now we got to build this country.
Yeah.
So I remember that day he told me that story. He's like, the only reason you can grow your business is fire up that boat, put it to fire, and then you won't never want to go back. Wow. So you know what I did? I went that night because as a leader,
down the chicken plant.
Not burn down, but I went that night to my job and I said, you know what? This is my last night because you got to turn in a 2-week notice to quit at a chicken plant because if not, they will never hire you back again.
Right.
So I went that night. I was like, you know what? This is my last night. I'm not coming back. He's like, my boss was like, it was a lady and a guy. Was like, what, why? Is it money wise? Is I'm just not happy. I don't like the pressure. It's a lot to keep up with, and I have a family. So I feel like I'm not spending enough time with them. So they're like, well, I wish I can tell you that, if you want to come back, you can, but you're just giving us a few hours notice, and I hope you do better what you're doing. I hope you sit down and think, why don't you, I'm not going to tell the other boss, why don't you sit down and think again? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, no, I already made a decision. This is my last night. So that day was hard. That night was hard. That next morning, I was like, what did I do? Did I just made a mistake or did I just took a great decision? Mm-hmm. Of course, 2014 was the hardest of my business because, these guys knows my story. Every time we go around this place, these small restaurants, because, I was solo back then. I told Baltazar, I was like, I'm taking the step to grow our business. So I started passing out cards, started posting on.
Was it still called Moses Lawn Cutting? Or
no,
did you change
that's whenever Baltazar Lawn Care comes
started
up.
in 2014?
2014, Baltazar Lawn Care, we changed it. We told Moses, we're going to change it. We want to make it to be as a family now, our last name. They're like, great, and if you grow it, I'm going to work with you. So I go out there and pass out cards, posting on the Times Daily here in Russellville. Mm-hmm. Back then it was all newspaper. There was Facebook already, but it's not as popular as it's now.
Right.
So I posted on there, and I get a couple of calls. But at that time it was only 7. We went from 14 to 7 customers, so you can't live off of. And when you start, you're not good at your price. Exactly. I was cutting grass for $30, $40, and then we went out there to Florence. Like I was telling you earlier, that's where we have most of our customer now because that's where it's a bigger city.
Yeah.
Bigger city, more houses, more opportunity and stuff like that. So I started going out there and passing out my cards to these big neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. And then there was time I sit down because I got turned down so many times, not only because I'm just a rookie guy, but because of my color too. People would not trust you. People's like, what are you doing around my house? I remember one time we was knocking at the door. It was in Russellville, it was in Florence. It was here, right? We knocked on the door and a guy comes out with his bat right behind him.
Oh, man.
Yeah, trying to attack Moses. And then we was like, hey, I think he got a bat in his hand. We came down with Baltazar. We're just passing out cards, just in case you need lawn care work. He was like, get out of here, we don't need you around here. I was like, okay. We told Moses, come on, let's go. He had a bat in his hand. So we turned down. We was turned down so many times. But then, like I was telling you, there was time that I was crying because I know I have a family at the house and I cannot feed my family making $250, $300 a week, plus my expenses, gas. Mm-hmm. I know I had a F-150 2000 and what was it, 6? Yeah. Transmission went out on it. Alternators, everything was going negative, Mm-hmm. And then I was like, what is going on? Did I just made a mistake? I remember calling my wife. I was like, I don't know if this business is for me because we're in the middle of the year and I feel like I'm not growing it, And then my wife's like, just stay calm, trust in God. Mm-hmm. He will take care of us. Don't worry, I'm here. And then I kept on. There was a point I was going to give up. I was like, I think I probably need to go back to the chicken plant here in Russellville because, I feel like I wasn't having enough call. I wasn't making money. So, but I kept on. I remember sitting at Little Caesars parking lot with my box of pizza, literally crying.
Hot and ready?
Yes, hot and ready. But I was crying.
Mr. Producer, you know about those. Man.
I was tearing up because I was, and I look up to the Lord and say, Lord, I'm here. Please listen.
Wow.
Please take care of me. Give me a sign if this business is for me. You will give me the strength every day. But if it's not for me, give me a sign.
Wow.
Every day, I show the guys in Florence, KFC parking lot. I tell them all the time, this is where I will park and literally cry because I feel like this business was not going to grow, or I was going desperate. I was desperate. I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. That year was the tough year. We jump in. I remember in wintertime, because here we stopped cutting grass right at the end of October.
Right.
So it's leaf season, but when you don't have enough customer, people is going to cut you off right at grass season. They're like, oh, we just
see you next spring.
See you next spring. I didn't have nothing.
Wow.
I couldn't save up a lot of money because I was spending all my profits on the truck. And it wasn't a lot. So in 2015, back at it again. I remember in the wintertime we went to work in Keith Kitchen. That was my wintertime work job. Went there for 4 months, and then picked back up in March, and it was the same struggle again. Okay, this year I'm going to grow. I want to grow, and then we started passing out more cards. But then that year we started picking up more calls. We started picking up more customer. People would call us and say, hey, I need you to come do this. I need you to look at my shrubs. And we was afraid of taking on landscape jobs, because we didn't have any experience with landscape. So we was only focusing on grass. But when it comes to like trimming, we will do them. We will of course, we wasn't doing as expert because we was not as good as on price back then as, now, but we're still learning. Yeah. So there's Ben. What's
up, Ben?
In 2015, everything started to pick up, but still the struggles were there. I was still praying to God. I was still telling God, show me a sign. I know we can do it. And my daddy, he moved back to Guatemala in 2015. He's like, I'm going to Guatemala. He got into politics. So he's like, but I know you can do it, son. So every other day he would call me and say, how's everything? Have you got any more customers? Like, yeah, we're starting to pick up, but still the struggle was always there, So that year we closed 2015, so-and-so. And then 16, we started picking up more residential. So in 2017, that's when we got into HOAs. Okay. HOAs, then now people, our name's already out there, so big people are starting to call us. HOA presidents, stores, little plazas and big stuff like that. So we started getting this big opportunity, and then I started to hire Baltazar full-time now. Okay. Baltazar is my first full-time. Of course, he was been here with me since 2007, but part-time. But in 2017, he comes in full-time. And then Moses comes in full-time again. And then we had John, because we took on our first HOA. We was like, man.
Now, how are you related to John?
That's Moses' brother, so both my nephews.
Okay, nephews.
Big one is my nephew, too.
Okay.
So
Juan, John.
Yes. So at that time we was like so excited. It was a 48 house HOA. We was like, man, we got our biggest contract of our life. Man, we're ready. So we kick off 2017 with our first HOA, and we was all happy. Everything started with the HOA, and then they have family living in Florence HOAs. Okay. And they're like, hey, we just found a good lawn care folks. They do a good job, better than the recent one we had. So if you want them, we'll give you them your number. So people started calling us, started picking up Cedar Park, and now we got over 5-6 HOAs, 600 properties that we're cutting now.
So you do all the houses in the neighborhood. You just go in and someone's mowing, the other guys use a stick edger, and then someone else is blowing.
What we do, we start off with 4 guys mowing, and 4 guys weed eating. Well, 2 guys weed eating and 2 edges first,
Okay.
And then when the 2 edgers finish, they start weed eating with the other guys.
Okay.
So everything started like that, Paul. And in 2018, Juan comes in, started because now I don't have time to do paperwork.
Okay.
Because everything started piling up, and I hired Juan. I was like, "Hey, you good at computers?" He's like, "Yeah." And at that time, he was just, right out of high school, he was like, "I want to work with y'all. I feel the vibes. You guys are happy working together. Moses and John always comes home and being happy." I was like, I want to do that. I'm looking for a job now, but I found one at a grocery store. He's like, "I don't like it." I was like, "Yeah, maybe one day we'll get you." So 2018, we add Juan, and then I tell him, "You know what? I want you to do all the paperwork now, because the HOAs require me to be there, because that's what happened with the other lawn care they had. There was no supervision. There was no foreman. So everybody was like scattered without knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they're like, you have to be with the guys, or you got to leave a foreman here in order for them to do the job. That's part of the contract. So I tell Juan, I was like, you need to start doing the paperwork, and then I'll be with the guys. So Juan takes off Thursday to do the paperwork now, sending invoices, write everybody's check. So that's his job on Thursdays, and the other days he'll work with us.
You got to check out Roll by ADP. You can use it for 3 months for free. You ever heard of ADP? They're the biggest payroll company in the United States, but they have an app now where you can just text and say, pay Juan, pay John, or pay Baltazar, pay Moses, and then it'll put the money in their account the next day. You just show them how many hours. It's sweet.
I didn't look into that.
Yeah, Roll by ADP. You try for free for 3 months.
Oh, okay.
That'll save you some time, save you some money.
Exactly. That's right. So that's how everything started, and now I don't even have to advertise. When I post something on Facebook on our page, Baltazar Lawn Care, people, boom. Like this year is our, busiest wintertime. Like in January, February, we was busy.
It's like crepe myrtles or what?
Crepe myrtles. We'll be doing put in rocks. This year we was big on rocks. Egg rocks, river rocks, rainbow rocks. People are like, when I post a picture of a yard that we did or landscaping, they're like, I need that.
Wow.
So
now when a customer's inside the HOA and they want rocks, does the customer pay you directly then? The HOA just pays you for the mow, edge, and blow.
Yes, exactly.
And then, but you can get additional work from the actual customer.
Yes.
Okay.
The HOA don't have nothing to do with that when it comes to landscape. Anything extra they want, they have to,
But you're already in position to get those jobs because you're there every day. So it's kind of like a monopoly.
Exactly. And we do get a lot of people pulling the guys over and say, hey, I need you to tell Eli to come over here and look at my flower bed. I need some mulch. I need some rocks or whatever. So, that's the thing right there. I think the main message that I can give today is if you want to build a business, do it. Don't be scared. I know the struggle is going to be there. I know there's a point you're going to say, I don't know if this is for me, because I went through it. I wished, in 2008, 2009, there was YouTube. I didn't have a phone back then. But
when did you get connected with the community on YouTube?
On YouTube, probably in 2017.
Okay.
Yes, 2018. Because
and you start watching B&B. Who'd you start watching?
B&B. B&B was
Stripe Nation.
Stripe Nation, because we didn't know nothing about Stripe back then. How do we do that? I remember with Baltazar, we bought a bar, one of them pipe bars at Lowe's, and we hooked it onto the mower, and we was like, still doesn't come, still doesn't stripe. So we started watching this video, and I tell Baltazar all the time, you need to watch B&B.
Yeah.
A young kid too.
Yeah.
And back then he was like, what, 18, 20?
Yeah, he was young.
Very young.
But he's cutting that tall grass in Kansas City. That's the problem with Bermuda and Zoysia. It's more difficult to stripe it.
Yes.
Unless you guys got a secret.
On Bermuda, we can stripe it here.
How?
Same thing you stripe the other yards. It's just
sharp blades.
Sharp blades, and
how often do you swipe up your blades? If you're doing 48 yards in a day, them things are gonna get dull.
We do it at least twice a week.
Okay.
So we got 2 set of blades, and we sharpen them. Like on Sunday afternoons, we sharpen them because we only work like our day off is Saturday. We're Seventh-day Adventists. We're Seventh-day Adventists. So we go to church on Saturdays.
Okay.
And then on Sundays, that would be our first day of the week.
I apologize. If I would have known that, I would have come yesterday. Because you guys could be out working right now.
No. You know, we only work half day on Sundays, but
Okay.
you know, today we told the guys, I was like, if you want to be here when Paul comes, you know, you go out there early. So they, we're gonna go
Okay, well,
start
thank you
there
guys.
at 7 o'clock this morning.
7 o'clock.
So
Thank
they're
you.
like, you know, we're gonna couple today, Chuck E. Cheese and them
I've
other
seen that one,
commercials. So they went out there this morning, couple, and then they're like, you know, we're gonna come in that way we can't miss on Paul's visit. So. That's what happened, Paul. That's how we started. You know, everything is family.
Yeah. Now, how did you get to move into such a fine home? Financially, how did you afford to build a business? Going from crying at KFC, not knowing if you're going to make ends meet, to living in such luxurious big home. How did you connect that?
Well, the main thing was I started learning my prices because I know I had so many customers at one point, but I wasn't making a lot of, you know, money. Profit wasn't as
By
good
the time
as.
you pay payroll and the new transmission and
Exactly.
equipment and the new mowers,
Yes,
not
exactly.
much left.
There was not a lot left, so I was like, I need to learn more my price, and I started watching, like I said, you know, videos on YouTube, and you talking about increasing your price, and
I've been preaching this before the dang everyone started talking about it. I was
Exactly.
telling everyone you're raising your prices. You got to raise your prices because you can't make money. We were talking about this on the phone today. You can't pay gas and pay payroll and do everything right and charge $35 to cut someone's lawn. It's impossible.
Exactly.
But that's what Chuck in the Truck does, and it anyway.
Yeah, so that's why we started raising our price. Actually, I did another increase this week.
Good.
On some customers that I know I needed to go up on. So that's how I noticed. I was like, we're out here busting our butt. Our profit is not as where I wanted.
Was
to.
that the same with the HOA too? By the
Yes.
time you did all those, did you
Yes.
calculate? Oh man, this ain't working.
Exactly. So the following year, when we renewed the contract, I told them, I was like, hey, you guys love what we do. You know, you love our jobs. So we're going to have to go up on the price. And they're like, well, we have to take it to the board meeting, but how much are you going up? So I tell them the difference, and they're like, well, you know, because actually on the first HOA we got, which is Ivy Green, Ben has been there.
Okay.
The guy that used to do it, he was way off his numbers. He was way off, and I was like, I can't do that. That's just not where I want to be, you know. And they're like, well, how much is your price? And I put my price in. The first year, they were like, okay, but then I felt like I wasn't making profit yet. I wasn't making money yet. So
that other guy really wasn't.
he
making
wasn't. He wasn't. No wonder why he comes in here and just, you know, boom, 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 runs that mower over and spots left where it's not weed eated, busts, you know, the concrete. I mean, they didn't care.
Yeah.
So that year, the following year when we renewed the contract, I was like, I need to, you know, go up on the price. And then some of them, of course, was like, I don't know if we can afford to pay that, but, you know. So they took it to the board meeting. Of course, some voted no and some voted yes, but we still won the votes. It was 70 to 30%. So they're like, you know, you still got the contract. Did pick up the other ones and did the same thing. Hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up on this ones and this one and that. And they're like, we can't afford to lose you guys. You do a good
So
job.
the quality of your work got you the
Speaks for
highest
it.
price. And I think
Yes.
that's important
Very
for everyone
important.
listening right now. If you're doing raggedy work, the price increase letters, it ain't gonna work. But if the customer's like, I don't want to lose you, I'll pay you extra. So you gotta do good work.
Quality is key
Yeah.
for especially when you go up on price. Because if you're not doing a good job, they're not going to keep you.
Yeah.
So same thing we did. You know, we had a trouble with one Cedars Town Home. We had a trouble with one of them association. They were like, I don't think the president. She was like, I don't know. You know.
Them HOA presidents,
I'm
man,
telling
they
you.
can be feisty.
And then the
They
other.
don't like me. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that. I don't play that BS.
Yes, and then the secretary, they were like, we want you. We're going to push for this. Don't worry about it. So just a few days back, they were like, I'm glad you went up on your price, even though she didn't wanted it. But now we understand gas price is so high, and even the president recognized it. I'm sorry for making it so hard. Now I understand why you wanted to, you needed to go up on price.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. We started going up on our price, started learning our numbers, and like I said, of course, watching other guys like you and other guys out there that does videos, and we appreciate them for helping us, because when I was growing my business, I wish there were people there helping me. But, there wasn't no video. There was no YouTube. There was nothing. And I would walk up to the other lawn cares. They were not willing to help me.
Right.
Because they look at it as a competition. And I'm always big on that when I was like, hey, be friends with other lawn care guys.
Yeah.
Because you never know what they need help in, maybe help them with their price or do work, or how do you do this, how do you do that?
Yeah.
So,
but you can raise the industry in your town together. If there's enough money, whether it's Russellville or definitely in Atlanta, crazy amount of opportunity in Atlanta, but there's enough money that's flowing around Atlanta for me to get some and you to get some.
Exactly.
And because you're going to get some doesn't mean I'm going to get less. There's so much money being spent on lawn care and landscaping in our industry. And when we don't talk to each other and the prices are going down, we're only shooting ourselves in the foot, because the customers are still going to, they ain't going to go out there and mow their grass when it's 92 degrees.
Exactly.
So they're going to hire somebody. So it's better to talk. And that's why the shows are so popular. It's because they're not getting this information with the guy across the street. So they got to listen to us in Alabama share it.
Exactly. That's how we met with Ben through IG. We went to launch. Which one is it? Is it not Launchpreneur? It was Landscape Society in Mississippi.
Yeah.
You was there too.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes, and Ben was posting pictures.
Are they going to do that again this year?
I don't know. I think it's in August. I think, I don't know.
Later in August. All right.
Something
Well, we'll
like
let you know, because you definitely want to be there if they have it. I know that it was going to be in like the winter and then got postponed. I was asking Naylor the other day. I was like, "Are they having it?" He's like, "I don't know." So you don't know. So we'll figure it out. But if Kohler has that event again, it's great.
Yeah, it is. It is. So Ben was posting picture about it. We came back home that Monday and we went out to work, and I was like, I think that guy was there. And I looked at his location. It says Killen, Alabama. I was like, this guy is just 30 minutes from us. And I was afraid to text him, because I was like, what if he don't like hang with other lawn care guy? What if he looks at a competition? So at one point we was like, hey man, good job. I think I commented, or he did on mine, and was like, hey man, we started texting. We need to link up sometimes. So he pulls up when we was at Ivy Green. We started talking about it. So social media now is being big help for all lawn care guys. So going back to what you were saying, learn your numbers is the main thing. That's how I started picking up, my prices. And now I got to the point where, my numbers are good. Of course, I'm still learning some other categories, but, I started learning my numbers. And then we were living at my dad's house. And then I told my wife last year, we need to look for a house, because we got 3 kids, and it's time for a bigger house, because and she was saying it too. We run out of space. We need a bigger house, bigger place, and we started looking last year, but we couldn't find a good one. Well, we ran into this, and we was like, well, this is a good one, but the price is a little pricey. I don't know. And I told her, I was like, what you think? She fell in love with it.
Oh, yeah.
She fell in love with it.
Shoot.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay.
This is nice.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. So that's how we started getting into looking at houses, and we found this one. We was like, I don't know, a little pricey, but what do you think? And my wife said, you know what? Let's put it in God's hand. There was another one that we looked at, a little cheaper than this one, but then she said, why don't we put on God's hand? He'll do the rest. And then we was like, okay, let's do that. So here we are, Paul. This is my house now.
When did you get the keys? Because it's just brand new.
I think last Friday, wasn't it? Yeah, last Friday.
Last Friday.
A week from yesterday. So 2 days ago. Yeah, a week from 2 days ago. So that's whenever we started moving some stuff in. You guys seen we're still missing couches because we got them ordered, and I haven't got the Wi-Fi yet. I called them Thursday, and they're like, oh, it's going to be until next week. So that's the thing. But that's how we grew, Paul. So here we are. Like I said, now our next step is you're going to see my little shop here in a minute. Okay. So that would be our next project, our next goal to build our shop. We talk about it with Ben all the time. We're going to build our shop, but now this is our thing right now, our house.
Yeah,
and we finally got it, And now, like I was telling you earlier, we're going to redo all the landscape.
Yeah, I gave you some.
That's
You got
a
some
tip.
bare spots out there. I was like, hey, the landscaper's yards. I was just at Jeremiah Jennings' house, and his garden beds are empty. He doesn't have plants in there, flower, nothing, just empty.
Empty.
I was like, what kind? It's like the painter's house needs painted, man. The landscaper's house needs at least a bush or something.
Yeah.
You know? Literally, Jeremiah, nothing in that bed. I was about to go out to Lowe's and buy him some plants. I put it in there, but I don't want it. It's too hot.
Maybe he don't like maintenance. He probably wanted low maintenance.
Oh, it's low maintenance, all right. But I wasn't going to let you keep those bare spots over there, man.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're going to put some seeds there and then some straw over it. So we bought some this week, and like I said, this is our busiest season, you know.
Yeah, no, I know. But you already striped it up because I turned the corner and the stripes hit me.
Exactly.
You did it smart. You did it
Baltazar.
diagonal. Yeah, Baltazar did it
Stripe
diagonal, but the diagonal's facing, so when you turn left and you go down the street, it hits you, which
Exactly.
is what you want to do. You want the stripe to make eye contact with the driver. It's perfect. I knew instantly. I was like, that's where they live.
Exactly.
For
Oh
sure.
man, that's awesome. So that's how everything went, Paul. And like I said, you know, always be willing to learn. That's the main thing too, because I know there's a lot of folks that you know, once they learn, they don't want to help others or they don't want to continue learning. But you got to have an open mind. You always have to, you know, help others. Like I said, you know, who would have think? I tell the guys all the time, who would have think the tacos are here?
Oh, nice. Perfect timing, man.
So yeah, who would have think after 15 years now people would text me on Instagram, how do you do that? How do we do some jobs and they'll text me and ask me, how do we do it? Tips, you know, and or Juan or Baltazar, how do you guys do them kind of jobs? Or, you know, how do y'all stripe? So, you know, now, like I said, I went to Russell School, but I dropped that when I was in 6th grade because I started helping my daddy. So now people would ask me for tips. You know, you know me. I'm not big guy in the industry. You know, I'm just a simple lawn care guy. But when people watch your story, the quality of your work on Instagram, on Facebook, they're like, hey, you're doing a good job. I want to be like you. I want to learn how to do that. So, you know, when you put your trust in God, He will take care of the rest. And that's what we did with the guys. And like I said, Juan is here. And he does a good job doing everything while everybody's out there striping yards. So, Juan, you want to put something to this?
I mean, I picked up a lot of things with lawn care because when he was still small company, he would always ask for some help. You know, can you want to go cut some grass? Give you some extra money. And at that time, as he was growing, I remember cutting some grasses with him, and I'd be weed eating. And at the end of the day, when we finished, you know, the day up, $20 goes in my pocket. You know, he's like, man, I'm sorry. You know, I'm still growing. This is what I'm able to give you. Or sometimes he's like, you want to get paid, or you want to go, or instead of getting paid, you want lunch. It's on me. And to this day, you know, I seen him grow his business, how he developed and how he learned so much. Instead of getting $20 a day now, you know, I'm getting that an hour, you know, every day working with them. And then paperwork, you know, he's like, hey, I need your help. I'm in the office keeping up with the expenses, the guy's payroll.
Roll by ADP, Big Juan.
You know,
Roll by
people don't
ADP. You'll be shocked, man. You go in 30 seconds. Just text how many hours they worked, whatever their rate is, and then boom, and it does all the taxes for you.
Yeah, and so when I do all that in the office, like if like any of the days throughout the week, I take the drone or the cameras to record them. Then on Thursdays when I'm in the office, that's when I take advantage of creating their videos, what they post on Instagram. Or when they were active on YouTube, I'm the one that was, you know, editing everything that was, you know, video wise. And to this day, we're still rolling with them.
So that's incredible. Well, we got some tacos in the house, and if you guys want more, you can watch on my YouTube channel, Green Industry Podcast with Paul Jameson. You can see the actual video of this episode, as well as we're going to go to the shop after the tacos and maybe, you know, do like a shop tour or something.
Yeah, sure.
See what mowers, power equipment, what kind of your operation is. And also, will you guys be coming to Equip, formerly known as GIE?
Yes.
You bring the whole crew, because when I first met you, I saw B&B was in the hallway. It was a Friday morning, and that you were all around B&B. You're like, Stripe Nation, Stripe Nation, Stripe Nation. And then you got a picture with Stan, I think.
Yeah.
That was the first time I met y'all.
That was the first year to GIA too.
They had last year was actually my first year they ever been there.
Oh, wow. But that was the first year I met you guys, because I met you in the hallway upstairs when you were getting a picture with Stan. Yeah, and Blake. And so that was cool.
Yeah, that was our first year. I think it was in 2018.
Probably.
Yeah. So we went to GIA and we was impressed. So ever since then, we make it as a trip for the whole
company.
crew, whole company. We work Sunday morning real early. That week of at GIE, we bust our butt 10 hours Monday, Tuesday, and we leave early Wednesday to be up there. Have a good time with everybody,
Yeah.
Because this community is big, man, and I'm grateful to be a part of this community. Like I said, I've met Ben and great people through IG, but meeting in person is something else.
Yeah.
Getting to meet you. I mean, I met you there, and Stan and BMB, man, we were so happy to take a picture with him in the Stripe Nation.
Yeah,
so,
but you get to hang around other like-minded people that you might have been in KFC praying, help me God, but every other person that you meet, they have the same story because nobody came out of the gate charging the right price and everything's good. We all hit our head against the wall and be like, this $35 a cut ain't working it. We've all had that moment where we're like, I wake up, crack of dawn, maybe go to the gym like Ben, have your triceps popping out of your shirt. But you work all day and then you come home and it's getting dark and you're sweating. And then you look in your bank account and you're scratching your head like, how do I work so hard? Where'd all the money go? Well, it went to your truck. It went to the gas. It went to your payroll. It came in and then it flew out.
Exactly.
and the only way it's sustainable is what comes in and what comes out. What comes in has to be higher than what comes out, which you can cut what comes out. You can be smart, but at the end of the day, you have to bring more in not by working more, but working smarter by having higher prices. So we all B&B learns the same thing. Stan, Ben, James, all of us have learned that lesson. So when you go to GIE, which is Equip Now, we talk about this stuff and we help each other out. Everyone that's there wants to build a successful business.
Exactly.
And so it's just healthy. So.
Yeah, so, like I said, GIE or Equip has been our trip every year. And like now we already got our tickets and hotel already.
Did you use promo code Paul or say 50% off or what?
Yes.
You did?
Is it his or is it MLC? I think it was. It's yours. I think it was yours. Last year we used yours for sure, but I don't remember who we used this year. But
MLC,
we have so many codes
come
out
on,
there.
Mitchell's Lawn Care.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, if you're listening, you're making it sound like you use MLC. Promo code Paul saves you 50% off.
Okay.
Oh,
I think he was the first one that posted about the 10%.
Yeah, so you use that MLC, Mitchell's Lawn Care. That guy's printing money up there in North Carolina, man. You see that shop he built?
Yep.
Where's he getting all this money?
Exactly. I ask that all the time.
No, he's a full-time state trooper. So he must have pulled somebody over and they had a bunch of money in the truck. He took it, built a shop.
Yeah, Mitchell's a good guy. Very humble guy.
But if you guys want to go to Equip Expo this year and save 50% off your registration, use promo code Paul. That link is in today's show notes. All right, guys, we're going to go eat some tacos, and we'll do another episode with Ben and whoever else wants to be in it. We'll kind of run it back too, so you guys can listen to that. And thanks again for hosting us. Congratulations on the success. This is a beautiful home. And you guys can follow BLC on Instagram at Baltazar Lawn Care or just
BLC 256.
BLC 256.
Area code, yeah.
On Instagram. So thank you for hosting me.
Thank you.
Thank you,
for coming,
Paul. Thank
Paul.
you.